Swapadantikam. Hey Krishna Karna Sindhu Dinbandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastite Namta Kanchan Gaurang Ki Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishbhanuste Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advait Gadadhara Shivasati Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vishnu Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami iti namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurvani Pacharine Nirvisheshishnivadi Paschate Deshatarine. Hare Krishna. So we try to finish the chapter today and we are in the last part of the chapter. I think we have to start from here if I remember correctly, right? Sarvadharman Parityaja.
Yes, Mataji, that's correct.
This is a very famous verse. Sir, do all of you know this verse? I think this is the memorization verse also. Sarvadharman Parityaja. Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, we know.
Okay, why don't you sing then? Recite.
Okay. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayami ma suchaha.
Thank you. So abandon all varieties of religion, just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. So Krishna, having told Arjun about different avenues like karma yoga, jnana yoga, ashtanga yoga, is finally telling Arjun to just surrender all those kinds of religion. I'm sorry, just leave all those kind of religions and surrender unto me. That doesn't mean that we leave our, families and run away, because ultimately Arjun will also remain a grasta, and he'll also go and fight the war. It means as from internally develop this sort of a detachment that I am of any other I have any other responsibility than to serve Krishna. So basically, even if you're serving your family or your family in this life, or your duty, it becomes a devotional service to Krishna. Okay, it becomes, as Krishna has explained in the earlier verses of this chapter also, it becomes a devotional service. And what is the benefit? The benefit is, if we are doing it for Krishna, if we are remembering Krishna, if we are offering results to Krishna, then we are relieved from all the sinful reactions. Well, there is no need to fear. So sinful reactions are a blocking obstacles, right? The obstacles for us to progress towards Krishna. The sinful reactions. The sins, but then Krishna also says that earlier in Bhagavad Gita, that even if the most sinful person can also surrender unto me, right? What is that verse? Shudra. What is that verse? Shudra.
9.30, na Mataji, it is?
No, not na mam dushkrita no mudha prapadyante naradhama. Now, yeah, that one also very nice. And there's one more that anyone can surrender unto me. Striya Shudra. Tatha
Priya Vaishyas Tatha Shudras Yepi.
yapi angat
9.32, Mataji.
Sravashas
Mam hi partha vyapashritya yeti supapa yonayaha striyo vaishas tatha shudras tepi yanti param gatim.
Yes. So whoever comes to me, so there are two discussions in this verse. One discussion is that Krishna is finally declaring that all the kinds of yogic paths that I explained previously, just surrender, just leave them and come to me. And we discussed that there are 6 aspects of surrender, because what is this sharanam? Sharanam means what? And the other aspect of discussion in this verse is that if somebody is sinful, that is an obstruction to go to Krishna. But if we go to Krishna, despite of being sinful, we don't need to worry about it. And Krishna has assured that earlier in Bhagavad Gita as well, as we just cited the 2 references, the 9:30 and the 9:32. So Prabhupada explains, right now we are in 6th canto Srimad Bhagavatam. Right in the Bhagavatam class is the first chapter, which is the history of the life of Ramil, where also Sukdev Goswami is doing the same thing. When Parikshit Maharaj is asking that how can we prevent the humanity from going to all the hellish planets, and then Parikshit Maharaj starts by describing atonement. I'm sorry, Sukdev Goswami starts by describing atonement. Parikshit Maharaj rejects it. Then he next goes to explain Gyan Marg. If you have knowledge, then the ignorance is destroyed, and the ignorance is destroyed, then you don't do the sinful activity, because the sinful activity is committed because of avidya, right? Parikshit Maharaj rejects it because the desire to commit sinful activity is not uprooted. Then he also comes to the path of bhakti, that only by bhakti, kechit kevalya bhaktya vasudeva parayana. So like that, even if somebody is sinful or has a stock of sinful activities, or sinful activities are fructified and is suffering severely right now, then also just go to Krishna. He's assuring that. It's not that unless one is free from sinful reactions, one has to wait to go to Krishna. It's not like that. And what are the 6 limbs of surrender? Who knows? Let me just go to the next slide and then you can answer. This is Sharanam Bhaktivinoda Thakur Prabhupada explains, and in Hari Bhakti Vilas, 6 limbs of surrender. And Prabhupada writes that in the purport of this particular verse. Okay. So what is happening? Krishna says one should simply think of Krishna at all times. In the verse previous to that, if one simply thinks of Krishna at all times, what will happen to his duties? Krishna says, give up those duties and all varieties of religion. Only duties is to exclusively surrender to him, and material reaction will not touch you. Do not fear. So what does it mean when he says abandon all varieties of religion? Whatever he described previously. Various kinds of knowledge and process of religion, the Karma Yoga, Gyan Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, just leave all that. Now he recommends to give up all that and simply surrender. Okay, I'm just showing the summary. So confidential knowledge is the knowledge of the Brahman. I'm not the body, I'm the soul. And then more confidential knowledge is knowledge of Paramatma. And then most confidential knowledge is devotional service to Krishna. Okay, you can take reference of these verses, 54, 61, and 65 to 66. So now tell me, 6 limbs of surrender or Sharanam. What does Prabhupada say in the purport of 66 verse? When we say surrender, when Krishna says surrender to me, Mam Ekam Sharanam, what does that mean? What does that surrender mean? Right? What does it mean then? Instead of driving to office, drive to temple? What does it mean?
Means one should consider himself to be wholly dependent on Krishna.
Okay.
Whatever
Okay.
he's doing, and he must do it for
That's
the
one
pleasure
limb.
of Krishna.
Okay, that's one. Okay, one limb. Okay. Nikhil Prabhu, your hand was raised.
Accept all the things which are favorable for our devotional service, and then avoid which are unfavorable.
And then
favorable, unfavorable, and then what purpose says? Yes, the confidence in Krishna protection in all circumstances, and then we depend on Krishna to see to it that our full surrender is on Krishna, and He will keep us sustained here. And then we think that we are strong because we are dependent on Krishna. We are not thinking that we are weak because Krishna. Don't come as a sense of insecurity.
So you can open the. Okay, go ahead, Prabhu.
बस माताजी यही था.
Oh, okay. So open the puppet, everyone, and open this. Anukulena sankalpa pratikulasya varjanam rakshishayati vishvasho gopatritve varanam tatha atma nikshepa karpanya sadvidha sharanagataha. Sharanagati. That are the 6 elements. So this is explained by Bhaktivinoda Thakur in a book called Hari Bhakti Vilas. Okay, and it says that one should simply accept such religious principles that will lead ultimately to devotional service to the Lord. That is Anukulya Sankalpa.
Yes.
Then Pratikula Varjanam,
Varjanam.
anything that does not lead to the perfectional stage of Krishna consciousness should be avoided. Okay, Rakshayati Vishwasho. Number 3, confident that Krishna will protect me in all circumstances, no matter what the circumstances are externally. Gopa Tritve Varanam Tatha, no need to think, one should always think of himself helpless. There is nothing else that I am going to, there is nothing else that can help me. Okay, it's not that my family will help me, my bank balance will help me, my intelligence will help me, my body will help me, my skill will help me. No, only Krishna can help me, and if Krishna doesn't help me, I will not be helped. Then Atma Nikshepa Karpanya. One should think oneself very small. Don't think that I'm very big. Sadvidha and Nikshepa Karpanya. Seriously engage himself in the devotion service. So next time when we say that surrender to Krishna, there has to be an objectivity attached to it. And like, for example, when we say that we associate with devotees, there is an objectivity attached to it, right? Association means 6 exchanges. So surrender to Krishna also means 6 things going on. Okay, so devotion service to Krishna can happen at a mechanical level, but it can also happen in full consciousness. Krishna is talking about devotion service with full consciousness. He says, right, Mam Anusmara Yuddhacha, full consciousness, think of me and fight. A full consciousness of Krishna, that I am actually doing this for Krishna. So today, all day, this is Narasimha Dev appearance, right? All day, try to do this. In all activities, I am going to go to kitchen to cook for Krishna. I'm going to chant so that I can get closer to Krishna. Like, just do this exercise mentally and see what happens. Nice day to do it. Okay, this is the last section of Bhagavad Gita where preaching and studying of Bhagavad Gita is glorified by Krishna himself and by Sanjay. Idam te nat pakshaya na bhaktaya kadachana na cha shushruve vachyam na cha mam yo abhashriyati. So this confidential knowledge, which confidential knowledge? The confidential knowledge of surrender to Krishna may not be explained to those who are not austere or devoted or engaged in devotion service, or not to one who is envious of me. So Krishna says this, that don't explain all this. And Prabhupada explains that why Krishna is saying do not explain it to somebody who's not austere. Because austerity, is one of the elements of devotional service. Right? It's not austere, do not explain this knowledge to one who's not austere. Why? What does Prabhupada say in the Bhagavad? Do you all read? Or you read and but you just don't remember? Calm me down.
Mataji, those who are not austere will not be able to understand.
Right. So because the senses are not controlled, because they're living at the very sensual or mental level, or devoted, not austere, not devoted. What is or engaged in devotional service? What is the difference between being devoted or engaged in devotional service?
Their activities are not Krishna consciousness. They are not working in that spirit of service to Krishna. They're just working for their own material sense enjoyment, for their body, for not their soul.
Yeah, so that's not austere. Devoted, not devoted, or engaged in devotional service. So Prabhupada writes in the Prabhupada that somebody, who's not envious of Krishna, but just attends a program given by a pure devotee out of curiosity or however they come. but they become interested just by hearing that. They have a fair chance. But somebody who comes and it still does not move their heart, it's because they're not devotee. They're not looking for it. They're just there for some other reason. So you cannot understand. So Krishna is saying, don't waste your time on them. But Prabhupada said that the devotee of Krishna takes chance. No, anyhow. Or envious, we understand, right? Krishna chooses Arjun to explain Bhagavad Gita because he's not envious. Because why different people envy Krishna? Because he's supreme and nothing is above or equal to him. So this desire to have everything for oneself is jealousy, but also not only everything for oneself, but also to destroy the other person who has it is envy. And there is no antidote for envy. And the root of envy is I became envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and now it is coming in another relationships, wherever we are. So next time we feel this urge of envy inside our system, just reflect that actually it is coming because I'm still envious of Krishna. Catch yourself. Who should not try to comment on Bhagavad Gita? Envious, faithless, those without understanding of Krishna from authority of a pure devotee. So, ya idam paramam guhyam mad bhaktesho abhidhashayati bhaktim mai param kritva mam e vishyasi asanchayaha. For one who explains the supreme secret to the devotees, devotional service is guaranteed, and at the end he will come to me. So Prabhupada has written very nicely that, whoever hears Bhagavad Gita with rapt attention, whoever explains it, whoever reads it, this secret of Bhagavad Gita, because it is words of Krishna, is actually, the future is very bright. That person will become a pure devotee. So I think each one of us, the idea of doing Bhakti Shastri is not just to get a title of Bhakti Shastri, but also to be able to preach. Also to be able to become available. And we can preach even in our own house. You don't have to if we can't do it in a very elaborate manner. After this program was over, I became friends with one of the girls here, and she started reading Bhagavad Gita with her son. So she said it took 1 year to read, but every evening she and her son would sit down and read 1 or 2 verses. That's preaching. Do something, but not do nothing. Nacha tasman manusheshu kashin me priyat kuttamaha bhavita cha nacha me tasmat anya priyataro bhuvi. There is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be more dear. So, you want to become dear to Krishna? If we become dear to Krishna, then all our problems are solved. What is this power? Is when somebody in the material world is affiliated with somebody very powerful, very renowned, very rich, don't they feel like this sense of security? Oh, you brought the baby. Hi, Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Can you see her?
Yeah. Hi,
Hari,
Krishna.
Hari.
Okay, is Adhyeshate cha ya imam dharmayam samvadam avyoho kyana yagena tena aham ishtasyam iti me mati. And I declare that he who studies this sacred conversation worships me by his intelligence. So, is our worship to Krishna going to change from here on because we have studied Bhagavad Gita? Just, become more introspective. That we are going to use our intelligence. And what is the function of intelligence? What's the function of intelligence?
Discrimination.
Discrimination of what?
What is right, what is Shastrik, what is not Shastrik.
Yeah, very
What
nice.
is right and wrong.
So what is just don't become allured by the fruitive language of the Vedas or attracted by somebody's austerity or somebody's knowledge. One needs to get attracted by somebody's bhakti. That's what is needed. Shraddhavan anasuyascha shunyad api yo naraha so api mukta shubha lokan prapnuyat punya karmanam. And one who listens with faith and without envy becomes free from sinful reaction and attains to planets where the pious dwell. So this is very important, that if somebody is listening with faith, may not be a devotee or engaged in devotional service of Krishna, but just by listening with faith makes one eligible, doesn't make one eligible to go to Goloka Vrindavan, because one has to be engaged in devotional service to Krishna for that and become fully purified. But it actually makes one eligible to go to pious planets. And Prabhupada gives example of what pious planet? Did you all read or no?
Dhruv the pole star.
Yeah, you read and tell me, right? You're not reading it now.
I read Mataji last night. I slept at
Very
12. I
nice.
finished the thing.
Yes, at least somebody read. Yeah, please read, because without reading, the mind has this activity of thinking, feeling, willing always. Krishna has programmed the mind in that manner. There's always going to be thinking something, always going to be feeling something, always going to be willing or making plans for something. So if we have to change the course of our thinking, feeling, and willing, we need to associate with the Shastras. Otherwise, the modes of material nature are going to dictate, and they are going to make us prisoners of what to think, what to feel, what to will for. Okay, this is like a rehab program. You know, associating with Shastras is like a rehabilitation of our reinstation of our constitutional position. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. It's a gradual process. Please read. Okay, so I don't have time. So basically the time is going in thinking, feeling, willing in something else. We're not working all the time. So Arjun is firmly fixed. So now Krishna is going to pitch this question, $1 million question. Kachit etach shrutam partha द्रव्यै अग्रेण चेतसः कचित् अज्ञान सम्मोहा प्राणश्चास्ते Dhananjaya. O son of Pritha, O conqueror of wealth, have you heard this with an attentive mind? And are your ignorance and illusions now dispelled? So here Krishna is acting as Arjun's spiritual master, right? The responsibility of the spiritual master is to make sure that the disciple is has fully become knowledgeable about the subject matter. So has he, any person who is fortunate to read this conversation, Prabhupada writes in the purport, and understand it with attentive mind, the conversation between Arjuna and Krishna actually becomes dispelled of illusion and ignorance. What is illusion and what is ignorance? Sammoha Ajnana. He says Kachit Ajnana Sammoha. Ajnan is ignorance, Sammoha is illusion. So what ignorance and illusion is Krishna talking about? Very easy. We've been talking all through Bhagavad Gita now. Elinit Prabhu, what Ajnan and Sammoha is Krishna talking about?
Mataji, illusion is that we think we're the body, not the soul. And
And
ignorance is when we forget that we are all just part and parcels of Krishna.
very nice. So yeah. So illusion is that I am of something else. I'm something else other than Krishna's. And Agyan is forgetfulness of that particular relationship. So one needs to revive that. Arjuna Vacha Nashtu Moho Smritir Labdhva Tat Prasadad Mayachyuta Sito Asmi Gata Sandeha Karishyase Vachanam Tava. Arjun said, my dear Krishna, O infallible one, my illusion is now gone. I have regained my memory by your mercy, and I am now firm and free from doubt and prepared to act according to your instructions. So Arjun is same Arjun who did not want to act, is very clarified here. his decision of not acting was based on illusion and ignorance. But same Arjun, he's saying, right, I have regained my memory by your mercy. So that relationship is there, the memory is there, but we have forgotten it, dementia of our relationship with Krishna. So to revive that memory, he said, I've revived that memory, I've regained that memory. Same Arjun is now going to act. So when we are not able to surrender to Krishna, then there are some doubts which are holding us back. Okay. There are some doubts which are keeping our memory covered. The doubts are the clouds. So it is very important. That is why every day, it is very important to clear those doubts and become more and more firm. We don't have forever, we really don't have forever, especially in today's age and today's time. Who knows how much time one has? So it's very important that we actually do it consciously. I was talking to somebody yesterday only, and says like, we can choose to be, if we don't read Shastras, you know what we become? There's a term in psychology for that. This for people who are given help, but they reject help under pretext of, oh, I don't have time, oh, I don't have resources, oh, this is too difficult, I can't change. So you know what they're called as? They're called as help rejecting complainers. So maybe I'm becoming very stern, but actually if we don't chant Hare Krishna, we don't read Bhagavad Gita every day, then we become help rejecting complainers. We cannot blame anyone. So you can label yourself, do not disturbed, already disturbed, because I'm a help rejecting complainer. So nobody else is needed. So do this. So actually, please, Arjun standing Krishna. Arjun is standing. I feel like whenever my mind tells me, Prem Kishori, no time, I'm like, okay, go back where Bhagavad Gita was spoken. My dear mind, where was Bhagavad Gita spoken? Tell me. Was it in a very nice seminar hall? With AC on and everybody's in a chilling, relaxed mood with their nice iPads to take notes? Where was it spoken? We all are like laughing. And why don't you all turn your cameras on? Like, yes, Shiva Srinivas Prabhuji, where was Bhagavad Gita spoken? Ambika Mataji, where was it spoken?
Kurukshetra Mataji, in the middle of war.
Yeah, the war is going to start. And even I was reading this morning that even Arjun needed mental health support. Who are you? So this morning only I was reading that he also needed mental health support. And who are you? So Krishna said, take the time out. Let's not just jump into the war without contemplations, without discussions. Just let's take some time out. Okay, everything can wait. You need to take care of yourself first. So I was hearing Sir Bhagwan Keshav Maharaj's lecture last few days, and he was saying that, you see, if you take the time out early in the morning for yourself, you have a slow start of the day, and you start the day with internal processing, then the whole day is empowered. But what we do, most of the people, he said, when they get up first thing in the morning, they do is check their phone. So we directly go to our identity as a part of this world. Like we directly, like, I'm not the body. We say I'm not the body, I'm the soul. I know these verses, I've done Bhakti Shastras, but what is action? So the minute we get like check the phone, it directly identifies ourselves with this part. Oh, let me check what's going on. It says, okay, let me check what's going on inside of me. Let me, start the day with my prayers to the acharyas and start the day with my prayer to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and figure out that I'm actually his part and parcel. And then I will, get to my conditional duty. But the whole world is doing, and then we get infected. You see? To gown ourselves up. So take the time out. He took the time out and he asked these questions. And then what happens? See what happens. I am now firm and free from doubt and prepared to act according to your instruction. Each word is very important. He's very firm. Means it cannot be now deviated. Not that the initial doubts he had that, oh, this is going to bring me sinful reaction. What were the 5 reasons that Arjun didn't want to fight? Exam everyone passed in the 5 reasons. But what were the 5 reasons that Arjun didn't want to? Everyone is going to tell me one reason. I'll choose the names. Anvaya Mataji, then Kirti Mataji. Anvaya, what was for one reason that Arjun didn't want to?
Compassion
Compassion
for
for the
his
family
family
member.
member.
Okay, very nice. Kirti Mataji, other reason.
Loss of traditions, Mataji.
The last reason first. Okay, ठीक है. We'll take it. Okay, Nikhil Prabhu, third reason. What is the reason? Then Ambika Mataji.
He had compassion.
Oh, हो गया.
Passion. Sinful reactions.
Sinful reaction. So first compassion, second loss of tradition, then incurring the sinful reactions. Then Ambika Mataji. What other reason Arjun gave him not gonna fight?
No enjoyment, Mataji.
Very nice. So no enjoyment, And then 5th reason.
Indecision.
Lilith Prabhu. 5th reason.
Indecision.
Indecision. Okay, fine. Okay. Okay, now all those reasons are not existing anymore. At least we were able to list out his 5 reasons. What are our reasons? So, Tat Prasadat, by your mercy, my illusion is gone. I've regained my memory, and I'm now free from firm and free from doubt, prepared to act according to your instructions. So, Sanjay is now going to glorify this. Sanjay said, thus I have heard the conversation of 2 great souls, Krishna and Arjun, and so wonderful is that message that my hair is standing on end. Our hair, when Mr. Prabhu taught us this, he said, okay, whose hair is standing on end? Nobody. So nobody is in ecstasy. He does that many times. He does that. I remember when we used to read Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhavendra Puri pastime also this happens. Okay, so spiritual master is a transparent medium. Sanjay's spiritual master, Vyasdev, gave him the empowerment to hear this, not only hear it, but hear it with a pure mind and attentive, pure heart and attentive mind. So that's how we have to become. Okay, every day one needs to do it. By the mercy of Vyasa, I have heard these most confidential talks directly from the master of all mysticism, Krishna, who was speaking personal to Arjun. That's the way of hearing Bhagavad Gita. That it has to be through the mercy of the spiritual master. It's not that, okay, now I'm a very big scholar and I have a very good command in English and my reading speed is very nice and my processing speed is even faster than my reading speed, so I'm going to understand Krishna. No. There's a verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita, right, that not by arguments, not by philosophical speculation, not by knowledge, material knowledge, can one understands the precepts of the Shastras. Then the precepts, because the precepts of the Shastras can only be understood by surrendering oneself at the lotus feet of a pure devotee, because that secret is hidden in the heart of that devotee. There's a verse like that in Chaitanya Charitamrita where not by this, not by this, not by this, but only by surrendering, because it is hidden, surrendering to a pure devotee. So one needs to fully surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead's confidential devotee and hear it from that particular angle. Not because I am a very good girl or a good boy and I'm going to read Bhagavad Gita and I'm very pious. No. O King, as I repeatedly recall this wondrous and holy dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna, I take pleasure being thrilled at every moment. Prabhupada explains this very nicely. And I was listening to Prabhupada's lecture last night, and he was saying that, you see, Krishna is happy, and I am his part and parcel. It's very simple. Formula is very simple. When he is happy, he says, you rascal, you're supposed to be happy. But why are you not happy? So Prabhupada, the formula is very simple. So Krishna is happy. You're supposed to be happy, and he's asking you, why are you not happy? So the only way we can actually become happy is if we plug ourselves back in the system. So plug yourself back in the system every day. O King, when I remember the wonderful form of Krishna, Lord Krishna, I'm struck with even greater wonder and I rejoice again and again. That's called meditation, right? That's a samadhi. That's called meditation, that I must be able to, think of Krishna all the time. And the memory of Krishna will be reinforced. What reinforces our memory of other people in our life? What reinforces our memory, joyful memory of other people in our life? Joyful memory. Kirti
Thinking
Mataji.
about it.
Thinking about
Thinking
What
about
re-
the memory, Mataji.
huh?
Thinking about the memory again and again.
What kind of a memory have you made that you're thinking?
Hare
That
Krishna Mataji.
happiness, Mataji.
Yeah,
And
the
second memory. Huh?
the moments that we might have spent with them, Mataji, and the words or some feelings that we would have shared. So those kind of things come back, and
Yeah. So she said a very key word. I don't think she realized it, but she said it, that we go back to our feelings. Okay, so it's a very well-known phenomenon. We go back to our feeling, how we felt in that particular interaction is what we want to go back to. So if we have not felt it, and to generate that feeling, one needs to, because actually those feelings are there, but we have to just like regain them with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Devotional service is needed. Devotional service is the charging station, which brings out all those. When the phone is dead or a device is dead, you charge it, it comes back, right? It's not that there is no functionality, but it's not operating because it has no energy to operate. So you connect it to a particular system for it to revive. Like that, devotional service is that particular system to revive that energy. And then we get awakened up like that. The acharyas have a lot of feelings. Arjun, so they have a lot of feelings. Look at Hanuman. One time I was contemplating, like, he loves Lord Ram so much. And look at Lord Ram and Mother Sita. So he goes to Mother Sita, right? And then he has to, like, there's this huge in Sundarkand, if you have read Ramayana, there's a huge description of how he's looking at Mother Sita. He's looking at who is Mother Sita. He identifies who it is, and then he's looking at her and he's contemplating, should I not, should I not, if I do that, because will she trust me, or will she not trust me? What if she doesn't trust me? What is there in me to trust me? So and then finally when he crosses all those obstacles, and Mother Sita, she calls him son, right? And then when Lord Ram also calls him son. So Tulsidas says that there are like two instances where he feels like, okay, they're my parents. That feeling, they're my parents, and he gets like pumped up with that relationship. Or you can look at Arjun, that, okay, Krishna wants this war, and I am part and parcel of Krishna, so I have to do it. So that feeling of belongingness is so important. So that joyful memory, if you have to create in your Krishna consciousness, or if I have to create in my Krishna consciousness, I have to bring that feeling. How do we do that? By a process. It's not Valentine's Day job, it's everyday process. Every day is a Valentine's Day here. The process. Have you ever contemplated, like, I don't know how many years have passed in your practice. I'm sure everyone is very practicing for a long time now. But have you ever thought, like, when we work in the secular world, we are always looking for, when is my next day off, right? Is it like that, or is it just me? And is it that I really don't have to, I can really, like, when is my next day off? But in Krishna consciousness, we don't want a day off. We don't want a day off. So we want like more and more and more. So that itself means a lot, right? And if it is not happening, then you have to go back to the operating system manual. You have to charge yourself a little more. Okay, don't say that that there is no electricity, so we cannot charge. Because it is there. Yatra Yogeshwaro Krishno Yatra Partho Dhanurdhara Tatra Shrir Vijayo Bhutir Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. Wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mystics, and wherever there is Arjun, the supreme archer, there will also certainly be opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. That is my opinion. So, who wants to explain this verse? Let's go and Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna. This is explanatory. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna. Yatra Partha Dhanurdhara. Wherever there is Krishna, master of mysteries, Arjun, supreme archer. Now I'm interested in Tatra Shrir. Shrir is opulence. Vijayo is victory. Bhutir is power. Dhruva Nitir. Niti is morality. And Mati is Mati is morality. I'm sorry. Mati is morality. Dhruva means certain. Tatra Shri Vijaya. Bhuti is exceptional power. And Niti is morality. That is my opinion. So I want to understand all these things. Okay, explain opulence. I will choose people. I'll go from bottom to top. Okay, Shiva Srinivas Prabhuji, your name is at the bottom of my list. What does opulence mean? I think he's not able to unmute. Linit Prabhu, you explain opulence. Victory, extraordinary power, morality. Yeah. Explain
Krishna Mataji,
opulence.
when Sanjaya says opulence, he means that Mataji, in the 10th chapter, Krishna explains about his vibhutis, his opulences. So Krishna personally being present on the other side as the charioteer itself is a display of one of his opulences as to what extent he can go for his devotees. So if Krishna himself is personally present there, then that is the greatest of all opulence. There is no other opulence that is greater than Krishna. So Krishna's personal presence is the greatest opulence.
Okay, so yes, so opulence both in terms of material and spiritual assets. Like what do we define as opulence in this world is like how much assets one has, right? So, but in terms of what Sanjay is trying to say, both materially and spiritually one become opulent. Of course, that's not the material opulence is not the goal. You see, Prabhupada says Krishna tested me in two ways. First, he took away everything from me. He tested me. Second, he gave it back to me. He gave a lot back to me and he tested me. So don't think that if Krishna is coming to our life, then we are going to be a loser. No, it's going to be a far more gain than what our two hands can accommodate. Victory. Thank you, Prabhu. Ambika Mataji, victory. What victory?
Hare
Explain
Krishna,
victory.
Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Because Krishna is there with the Pandavas, then victory is sure for the Pandavas. And after winning the battle, the whole kingdom will be transferred to Yudhishthira. So,
Okay.
so wherever there is Krishna, victory is there for sure. Because karma is on their side.
Okay, so okay, that's one way of looking at it. So Vijayo, victory. Yes, externally there is this victory, but Krishna has already declared, right, that that they're all going to die. So you take the credit of winning the war. So victory is like we get what defeats one person in their life. is Avanti Brahman in, I think it is 11 Cantation of Bhagavatam. I didn't recognize this. This is a Brahman called Avantika Brahman. Okay, it's a very long chapter. So this is it because I am falling behind in my life because of my karma. I'm falling behind in my life because of my sinful reactions, sinful activities. I'm falling behind in my life because of astrology, graha. I'm falling behind in my life because of enemies. I'm falling behind in my life because other people are, done something on me. So he concludes at the end that actually I'm falling behind in my life, or my biggest obstacle is my own uncontrolled mind. So victory, like that obstacle does not exist anymore because the mind is saturated with Krishna consciousness. And that is real victory. Everything else is a byproduct. Extraordinary power. Kirti Mataji, extraordinary power.
Mataji, Krishna is Swayam Bhagavan. So he has 6 opulences in full. So that when Krishna is there, that extraordinary power that he naturally has. So that will be there with the devotees to a certain extent, Mataji. And yeah, I think that is what he's explaining, Mataji, here, because that will definitely be there. Wherever Krishna is, that aspect is 100% there.
Yeah. So Parikshit Maharaj, thank you. Parikshit Maharaj asked this question to Sukhdev Goswami, that how is it that my grandfather Arjun was able to win the war in the presence of all these Maharathas like Bhishma, Drona, Karna? Because Arjun was not, so much superior to these archers. If we calculate based on the parameters of training, strength, precision, all those things. So Parikshit Maharaj asked this question to Sukhdev Goswami, that how was my grandfather Arjun able to supersede all these Bhishma, Drona, Karna? So Sukhdev Goswami said, yes, it is a fact that Arjun cannot supersede, but it was only on the pretext of the presence of Krishna that he could do this. That if Krishna is not there, then we lose the foundation. Thing is like, okay, I'm standing on my ground, I'm standing on my feet, but the minute Krishna takes away that energy, we start recognizing, oh my God, the legs are still there, the feet are still there, the ground is still there, why I'm not able to stand? Then we take notice. But the question is that why does it take for a loss for us to make a notice of someone? Why are we like that? Again, Krishna is saying, don't do that. No, he's saying, notice me everywhere now only. So that's extraordinary power. Yes, there is a little bit of a free will. Yes, there is a little bit of intelligence, but extraordinary power, it comes from Krishna. Morality. Nikhil Prabhu, morality.
Krishna is always, wherever Krishna is, there will be morality. So,
Okay, explain. That's what he's saying, and I'm asking you to explain it. What does it mean? Prabhupada writes it in the booklet. And some may protest that Krishna incited Arjun to fight, which is immoral, but the reality of the situation is clearly stated. Bhagavad Gita is the supreme instruction in morality. The supreme instruction of morality is stated in 9th chapter 34th verse. Man mana bhav mad bhakta. One must become a devotee of Krishna, and the essence of all religion is to surrender unto Krishna. Sarvadharman pratyaja mamekam sharanam vraja. The instructions of Bhagavad Gita constitute the supreme process of religion and morality. All other processes may be purifying and may lead to this process, but the last instruction of Gita is the last word in all morality and religion. Surrender unto Krishna. This is the verdict of 18th chapter. We have our own set of ideas of a morality, right? It's our own set of code book about morality. And that is why if it is not checking that, then we cannot think of what Sanjay is saying, that there is supreme morality. There's got to be, this is where the doubt is. Like, do not, Master Chat, do not fear, do not have doubt. So this is one of the doubts. Dig deep inside that, where is my doubt sitting? Krishna, Sanjay is saying all morality, but Krishna is immoral, because my definition of morality is one needs to never lie, one needs to never go deviate from the principles of war, one needs to respect one's elder. But I think everything here is, you know, overpowered. So is that moral? Is that moral? That's a doubt. Yeah, that's an obstacle. And it is morality because we got our definition wrong. So our definition itself is wrong. And we are building our life based on a wrong definition of the whole. If you're building, if you're building a building, if you're constructing a building, if the foundation is wrong, you can have like 100 floors. It's fall down at any time, right? So like that, we have built our life on a wrong definition. But I have explanation even for what the material definition is. Is there a difference between morality and spirituality? But actually, there is none. If we really understand the meaning of morality and spirituality, but to understand where people stand or where our definition is coming from, then morality and spirituality don't always overlap. And there's so many examples. One example is Arjun, right? He's not following that. What are some of the other examples where in our definition of morality and spirituality is not overlapping? Some other definitions, examples from the Shastras.
So basically, you are saying, Mataji, morality in the end is just surrender
That's what
to Krishna.
Prabhupada said.
Okay.
Last word in religion is surrender
So
to
that
Krishna.
if we just surrender to the Krishna or to the Guru Parampara, then the dilemma of is taken care of. We just following the dharma. That is the moral part.
Yes, and that is the definition of highest level of morality. Yes, but our definition of morality, what we have been fed into by the noise of the society, is not what it is here. So I'm asking, give examples from the Shastras where the morality and spirituality don't overlap. While I'm saying, where I mean morality is like when our own definition. We have our set of code books, right? Good person, not lying person. Like Arjun, the Yudhishthira was trying to be moral, not lying, because that's the definition of morality for him. Very virtuous person. But it doesn't happen in a life of a pure devotee. One example, Arjun. What is the other example? Anyone can speak.
Mataji, the wives of the Brahmanas,
Yeah.
when
They did
Krishna and
not follow
Balaram
the
came.
yeah. A chaste wife is supposed to follow the husband. A chaste chastity, definition of chastity, is following the footsteps of the husband. They didn't do it. We don't care what you do. We're just gonna give it to Krishna. Okay, very nice. More example. Krishna glorified them.
What was that example, Mataji? Sorry.
The wives of the Brahmanas who give away the food to Krishna and Balram, which was not offered by their husbands in the sacrifice first. Yeah, more examples. Prahlad Maharaj, Prabhupada gives this example that if somebody's father has been killed, will you garland the killer? Yeah. I mean, no, you'll not garland the killer. Bali Maharaj rejected his guru, right? The gopis are leaving their house in the middle of the night to meet him in the forest. Yeah. More example. सारे example तो मैंने दे दिए. You give one more example. अरे Our Goswamis are bribing all these jailers and then they are running away to go to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Bribing and going away, running away, right? Sanatan Goswami bribed the jailer. And also not only bribed, but the jailer asked, what will I tell the Nawab if he asks? Oh, he went to the river and then he fell down and fabricated a whole story of escape. So that's not moral, is it? According to our definition, the highest level of morality, but it's not overlapping. More example. One more example.
Mataji, Shabri, she first tasted the fruits and then offered it to
Yes.
Prabhu Ramchandra.
Yeah, we can accept that. Yeah, but in Tulsidas Ramayan, there is no mention of Shabri's pastime like this. And I heard this from Nityananda Pran Prabhu. So there's a devotee in Chicago. He's a Ram Bhakt. It's a pakka Ram Bhakt, pakka. He's so nice in explaining. So he had given this seminar last year in Gita Nagri. And in seminar in Ramayan, but many topics. So one of the topics was glorifying women from Ramayan. So he glorified Shabri, but then he brought out this point. But we will still accept it because Valmiki Ramayan mentions it. But Valmiki Ramayan is synopsis. Tulsidas is more detailed, right? So yes, okay. They see you're tasting. Where else? One more example.
Lakshman left his wife and followed Ram in the forest. So again, morally, he was.
Okay, I can say that or setting fire, Hanuman is setting fire
Yes.
in Ravan's place. Setting fire is actually, there's kind of 6 kinds of sinful reactions. First chapter of Bhagavad Gita, I think it's verse 36, it explains 6 kinds of
Yes.
sinners that have to be executed. One who
Yes.
sets fire on others' property.
Yes.
So setting fire, and he's considered to be very
Dealt with.
highest level of devotion. So basically, they are supremely moral, all these devotees, because they have fully surrendered their existence to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And if we are not looking at our definitions and understandings of our life from those angles, then we are hovering on the mental platform and there's nothing more. Even while chanting Hare Krishna, even while reading Bhagavad Gita. So we are still clouded by the doubts. Okay. That is why I beg that, every day spend time with the Shastras. Otherwise, we are in a danger zone. There's thinking, feeling, willing is going to go on because the mind is programmed like that. But if you want to take control of thinking, feeling, willing, then you have to give it something else other than the external things. If you can't read, then hear. One of the 2 things can happen. There's no time to hear, there's always time to hear. Dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. Krishna gives intelligence to a person who wants to come to me. The only reason why I'm not getting the intelligence is because my desire is not so intense. It's like I'm take it light, take it light. That's why sometimes the wars are kind of a good time. COVID, we spread like so much. Krishna consciousness spread like wildfire, my God. And when the COVID went away, it became a little bit quieter. Okay, this concludes our discussion. So acting with detachment is true renunciation and brings freedom from reaction. They're all the things. So we studied today the most confidential knowledge, Sarvadharma and Parityaja. Actually, Bhagavad Gita ends with Sarvadharma and Parityaja. And one thinks this is the final word in the Shastras. At least I thought so. Until I read the conversation between Madhav and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Rai, where Mahaprabhu is not convinced with this verdict of Sarvadharma and Parityaja. He wants him to go even more deep. And I'm like, oh my God, I thought that was the last word. He says, no, that's just a beginning. Go more deep. You have surrendered, now what? So that conversation is also very nice. Okay, preaching and studying Bhagavad Gita, not just to earn Bhakti Shastri degree, but actually to work on that degree. Arjun is firmly fixed, and Sanjay is predicting that what is going to be the future of somebody who reads Bhagavad Gita and bring Krishna and Arjuna in their life. Questions, reflections, realizations, corrections? Hare Krishna. Okay, let me go offline. What is the time? Oh, I'm 4 minutes over time.